Oh, let me invite her to the call. I mean, technically, some of you are not cast members, but you're all involved in the movie in one way or another.
I only made the pretty special effects.
Exactly.
I made
Got all the sordid details.
Future Linkara says it is very serious, but I don't know what is serious.
Hey, Jess.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, I've been saying howdy, so.
Okay, I'll stop screen sharing, so we'll have that out of the way. Okay, so yeah, I actually hadn't thought about that.
Well, if you probably have to screen share the movie with us, because otherwise we'll be watching the lagged version on the YouTube. And
Yeah,
we'll
give
be
me a
commenting
second.
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a last
give me a
name
second
deep
here.
version?
I'll get that set up for you guys.
Okay.
I mean, like, if we're gonna be talking anyway, I mean,
You're not going to
us
hear the
hearing
movie one
the
way or
audio
another.
is not as important, I suppose.
Audio, yes, but seeing it is kind of important.
Yeah, the
Welcome
seeing
to the
part,
Atop
I
the Fourth
agree.
Wall, the movie radio play.
Go ahead and, yeah, I was going to say screen share, just screen share OBS.
I mean, I could do that.
I mean, you're not screen sharing the desktop, so it won't be a hall of mirrors.
No, I was gonna screen share a separate file of it.
We'll still be minorly delayed somehow. I mean, I'm thinking that go and screen share OBS might be easier, and that
Okay,
way we are synced up.
Give me a second here. When I switch over to here, it's gonna lose the audio. Oh, sorry, people. I need to add the audio thing to OBS so that you guys can hear us during this bit. So 1 second. Yes, I did actually. Okay. So, can people hear Skype?
Yeah.
You guys talk
Yeah.
for a second.
This is a microphone check.
Not accustomed as I am to public speaking, I'd like to take this moment to confide in all of you that I am the Lindbergh baby.
Oh, I
That
figured.
explains everything.
I knew it. Time to write a book about it.
So, for those just joining us, we
Where
are
you
going to
been?
do a live commentary of the Atop the Fourth Wall movie, featuring, we're going to reintroduce people because it's been like 2 hours since the last time we introduced people. Starting with Nash.
What? Hi.
And Allison.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hi, welcome back, my friend.
And Viga.
Hi.
And the game show reviewer.
As your secondary host, howdy.
And Jess.
Hi.
Professor and Mary and.
Here on Gilligan's Isle.
All right, so we ready to go with this?
So you couldn't get like Kaylin or Brad or anyone else? They didn't
I
answer?
sent the messages, they didn't respond. Kaylin, I'm presuming, is sleeping right now, actually, because she like works weird hours.
Yeah,
that's
she works
true.
weird hours.
I received no message. I just saw this was going on and bugged my way in.
And Joe is almost impossible to get a hold of.
Yes.
I tried like 3 or 4 different ways to get in touch with him for the Critics and Creatures thing. I never heard back from him.
I mean, if if he contacts us and wants to get in on this, certainly. I mean, you guys can like tweet him right now out there if you want to.
Joe, Brad, who?
Brad too, if you want. I texted him, but no answer from him.
I was at Barnes & Noble today, and I saw that there's a Criterion edition of Salo, and I was just thinking of Brad.
For the person who was asking in the chat, what are we doing afterwards? After this, we are going to do Pokemon Omicron. Do the finale for that. People can feel free to stick around for that, even though they probably have never seen a single episode of it. But for now, finally, precious water. Now let's do some live commentary here.
Don't forget to screen share.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's gonna be delayed.
Oh, hon.
I do that whole speech about screen sharing, and you forgot to screen share. There you go.
Actually, I'm sharing
Screen
that entire
sharing is
monitor. Give me a second
caring.
here. Let's fix that. Let's do something different here.
I
Stop
like
sharing
the
screen.
layout of this stream with the chat and the graphics and all that. Looks
I know,
nice.
right? Thank Game Show Reviewer because I sure as hell couldn't do this on my own.
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, that turns out
Thank you,
it is
Game
just
Show
sharing
Reviewer.
OBS. Never mind then.
You're welcome.
Alrighty. So, everybody ready to have some fun?
Yay!
What?
But I thought we were watching your movie.
Oh.
Burn!
Are we telling any behind the scenes? What are we doing here? We're just
It's a
goofing around
commentary,
watching
so
this?
yeah, feel free to talk about behind the scenes stuff, anecdotes, bits where you hated me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so like all the time.
Yeah, so there you go. Alright, so let's do this.
Okay, so this part here, no.
Yeah, obviously the audio, I've turned it down way, way low so that people can actually hear us as opposed to the movie, because they can, watch the movie anytime.
True.
Well,
Although
I
you could probably-
remember us
you could-
filming this. Ugh.
You could probably turn it up just a little bit. I mean,
Okay, let's,
Yeah, I can't really hear it.
well, you're not supposed to hear it.
yeah, we're not going to hear it regardless, so.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall.
Where bad comics burn.
No one
Okay,
else
so actually
knows
this
anyone there.
segment was done by Suede, actually, except for the music, which was done by the Living Tombstone, who unfortunately did not have the music ready by the time it premiered on the internet.
Hey, Lou, can you? Never mind. I just noticed my Skype when my Skype chat was there in your screen share.
How dare you?
Sorry.
Yeah, this
I
is
really
really
like
cool. I
this.
didn't realize Suede did that. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
This.
He's got talent. What's he doing hanging out with us?
I know, right?
He's great. I'm glad we've been able to talk with him more recently.
Yep.
Who's that Lewis Lovehog? How'd you get him involved?
I contacted him, and he was very gracious about being a part of this. I mean, I had to pay him a huge amount, but I think it was worth it.
Had some stipulations in his contract.
Yeah.
Is he any relation to Viga Lovehog?
No, it's a totally different Love Hog.
Okay.
I mean, it's such a common last name.
Oh yeah, there's like 6 in my area.
Yeah, if only we had Alison Pregler's thespian techniques on hand.
Shakespearean trained. Yeah, Nick was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with Nick a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'd never met him in person. He was really fun. Very professional.
Yes, very professional.
I especially love the King of Worms thing, because Suede also voices the King of Worms, so that was cute.
Ah. See, now we're learning facts.
And this is from the Indiegogo, my mistake. I figured $250 was a good thing to do for a hey, get a producer's credit. Cause how many people are really gonna get pay $250 for this? 50
A
people.
lot.
A lot of people did.
50
Well,
people.
you could have put them all in bigger blocks, maybe instead of individually there.
Yeah, but I felt like this was a better way of incorporating everyone, making sure they got special attention, because it's a lot of money to contribute to it. And
Sure,
of course, there
sure.
was that one guy who contributed $15,000.
Oh
What?
my god!
Yeah.
Yeah. We
We actually Lewis and I had a Skype call at some point where we were like, okay, is this actually legit though?
Yeah,
Wow.
we looked
Did
it
he
up.
just have a trust fund or something? How does he got that much money?
I don't know, but
guess.
apparently he's rich and he just likes supporting our work. According to him, he's also contributed to Nash's fundraising for when he needs to renew his license.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Wow.
Big ups to that guy. Do you remember his name offhand?
I want.
I
It is
didn't mean to
Alex
put you on the
something.
spot. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just wanted to give him credit.
I am pretty sure it is Alex something. I can't remember his last name.
Woo,
Big
Alex.
ups to Alex.
Just remember that name and we'll watch the credits.
Yeah.
Alex, if you're watching, my show is completely for sale. We can whatever you want, whatever format changes you want, just get in touch with me.
So this was like one of the last things that was ever filmed because I had to have Nick fly out here again. And I actually spent like the previous evening reorganizing the living room to make it look somewhat similar to how it looked back in 2010.
Oh, we helped you move out of that place.
Yep.
That was a pain in the ass.
Yep.
I got too much shit.
When he flew you down there, did he tell you you'd be moving him?
That's just different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with this was a pain. Cause the thing is, I was still living with Liz at the time, so of course I didn't have her desk or anything like that. It's like 2012 was probably the same thing. Let's just go with that. And what we didn't see at the very beginning, I broke the 180 rule, and I feel like an idiot.
I don't feel like an idiot.
I feel like an idiot because I was actually like trying to think, okay, this should be how it looks.
You originally had Ed in mind for this character, yeah?
Yep. Because we had worked with Ed on so many times on the anniversaries and stuff, and at MagFest and stuff like that. So I was thinking, let's have Ed has worked well with me. I could see him being as kind of a kind of affable secret agent who could do serious if he needed to, and I figured he would also work well as an assistant director because he knew what the hell he was doing. But Ed turned me down on both counts. For both assistant director and for playing Alan. And then I was like, okay, well, Nick could play Alan because Nick lives in Minnesota, and since one of your feedbacks you had given me on the script was that Alan was introduced in the movie and no one knew who the hell he was, so when he died, spoilers, it didn't have quite the same emotional impact. So I was like, well, I need someone who's local to come out here and do some stuff beforehand to establish the character. And then Nick informed me that he was moving to Texas. People really are upset about the lack of sound in the video, so I will turn it up a bit more.
Say about halfway, because, I mean, those sliders are kind of deceptive.
Yeah,
How's that?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'd just like to put a shout out to Ed. He had that premiere in London for the Turkish Star Wars.
Yeah, congrats to
Pretty
Ed.
amazing.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a question. Someone else want to explain the 180 rule while I take some water?
If you're doing a shot over someone's shoulder, for instance, the shot of the next person that's talking, the next one should be 180 degrees away from it. So it would be directly in front of it. And that's a general rule in filmmaking.
Some random guy, there are no subtitles. Also, Viga's cameo in the back there.
Oh, there I am.
This was...
Mohawk.
Is she dancing with Farad? Is that
Yep.
who's
Yes.
with her?
We were just like dancing and talking about bullshit in the background.
I was off to the
That's
side
really-
watching this. This was Doug's uncle's bar.
I got to play with the snakes there.
And this was the Sunday of Anime Midwest, and you pulled us out of there to go film.
Yep. Because it was going to be the only time I didn't have a bar set, and frankly, I didn't know anybody who I could use a bar otherwise, and so Doug contacted his uncle and arranged this, and this was good. It was very nice of him. More than Michaud ever did. Okay, you want yeah, say I was going to ask if the sound is still good now. And someone's saying it's okay. And drunk Kara.
The head banging in the background there.
I still think to get truly in character in this moment, you should have took a shot.
Oh, jeez.
Then watch as I
Acting
pass
while
out on the ground
drinking
because
is
I can't
always
hold my
great,
liquor.
right?
Well, no one can hold their liquor, Louis. It's a liquid.
Applause.
Remember that time, Nash, when I ordered a Rob Roy because I didn't know what it was, and you were like, "Wow, I guess you got a hang of that drinking thing." It was like paint thinner. I was like, "It says here there's a cherry in it. Is it cherry flavored?"
Most famous bar that no one can visit. In the first draft of the script, the movie basically starts here. It's Linkara waking up after having a nightmare instead of the bar scene and the flashback and everything like that to establish Alan.
So someone asked in the chat, will there ever be a Blu-ray of this?
It's a possibility. I still have all the footage, so I could make it 1080p and for a Blu-ray, but the demand was not there at the time, and I don't think the demand is really there now. I don't think it would really improve that much.
Mm.
So what you're saying is you want me to cease work on the visual effects for that? No.
Now, at the time, being a part, I'm talking a little bit ahead here, but that's because it takes me like a minute here to wake up from being drunk. But one of the things that I like to do, one of the things I really enjoyed about the Channel Awesome Anniversary movies was, the sense of wider shared universe. So I figured, well, I'll embrace that a bit with this and bring back Doug's character, Laurie Prince. And he put a bunch of flour in his hair to try to make him look older because it had been a while. And as he commented to me in like the behind the scenes, yeah, this didn't really work out as well as I had planned.
And that is actually the same news set with some modification that we are now using for Contest of Champions.
Yep, and it's a great news set. You modified it a lot. It actually, I mean, you would not be able to tell it was the same thing.
Yeah, and sadly, I think that it looks better now as Contest of Champions.
Now, who's this guy? Have we seen him before?
I don't know. No, Noah was great with this. He accidentally recorded he recorded the extras for the DVD, not realizing, oh, dude, you have a part in the movie too. I was like, what?
You originally were thinking of having him in the movie at like flying out at one point, right? Or he was like a backup?
He was a backup. In case Nash was not interested in being in the movie, I had backups for most everyone else for particular roles. Backup for Allison was Doug. A backup for Nash was Noah. I can't remember some of the other backups that I had in mind. Basically, the idea was that, if they don't like their role, if they don't want to be in it, or they're unavailable, then it wouldn't take too much modification to make this work. With Noah, basically the wide-eyed, what the hell is going on here thing I thought would work. And with Allison, I would have to rewrite the part slightly to make it be about only 90s kid will hang out with the critic because everyone's pissed off at the critic.
Me and Doug are so interchangeable, right?
like I said, it's not that. Like I said, it would have taken more modification for Doug.
Now, I was the backup for Harvey, right?
I know, that guy's so temperamental.
That was strange to me when we were filming it. The fact, obviously you had to have people dress up as Harvey and 90s Kid, to be able to do scenes where, that you were in it as well. And so that was interesting to me, having your friends dress up as those characters.
Oh my God, it was so surreal that it wasn't Harvey and 90s
Blood
Kid.
Gun.
The Blood Gun comic is real. It was made as a special prop by Benjamin J. Cologne, who, if you go to the posting of the on my website of the first part, you can purchase the Blood Gun comic from him.
Are you still doing super chat answers right now?
Yeah. Since I know how to choose ask, I'll ask. Please explain the essence of the Sassy Terry, or however it's spelled.
The who?
I'm assuming they mean Fat Grandma.
Ah.
Allison, do you want to explain Fat Grandma?
Flapjacks.
Do you want to explain Fat Grandma?
Oh, it came from a joke that Phelan and I had. I think Brad eventually too. That you had so many characters. You're like the Tyler Perry of that guy with the glasses, but all you needed was a Fat Grandma character. We're like, okay, Fat Grandma. And when we did Time Machine, I bought at a yard sale. We needed like a crazy old person to be in it, so we asked you to play Fat Grandma.
I love that video.
It's such a great video.
Man, Fat Grandma is my favorite character of yours, Lewis. So good.
As I have tried to fix my throat for recording the 500th episode, the litmus test I use to see if my throat is fixed is doing the Fat Grandma voice.
Is she gonna be in the 500th, Fat Grandma?
Maybe. All I will say is that unfortunately it's been really hard to try to do it because this is the Fat Grandma voice right now.
I think this is
like,
me holding the
Morty
camera
and
here,
Rick
which is
and
why I was
Morty right
shaking
now.
so much.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and for the record, Lewis, you didn't get me sick after I left, so thanks for that.
It's okay. He got me sick too. I'm sick right now
that
too.
Sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because my
I
throat started up
warned
today.
you guys. I warned you guys, and you insisted on hugging.
Okay, when do I see you? Like once every 3 years, so I'm not going to see you until 2021.
But still. Oh yes, and as commented in the chat, there is a Fat Grandma commentary for the Atop the Fourth Wall movie.
And that is a
There
very
is.
disturbing thing because Fat Grandma makes a sexual reference to my character that just puts a very ugly image in my head.
Don't be jealous of her.
Fat Grandma talks about how she took out Mussolini, and Fat Grandma is abducted by aliens at one point.
That's great.
Now, is that all in canon?
Of course. The Fat Grandma continuity is very tightly controlled.
I love that technically all other reviewers exist in the Fat Grandma book universe.
Yeah.
That's the story she's telling. It's the Tommy Westfall universe, but with Fat Grandma.
Yep.
So basically, what you mean is when we all eventually sign off, whenever that is, we have to get a cameo from Lewis, and that's all she wrote for.
Isn't that how well she ended his series? Just close the storybook?
I think so, yeah.
What were you drinking there?
I believe it was, I wasn't actually drinking anything. It was like Coke with water in it to make it look more like whiskey.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, that sounds
Actual
super
whiskey
gross.
would have been less disgusting.
That's why I didn't actually drink it.
I would have drank it for you.
No Romulan ale, huh?
Oh God.
We tried Romulan ale because I bought a bottle on eBay that was like from the Star Trek Experience set. It tasted like detergent or something like
Windex.
that. Windex, that was it.
Yeah, we were gonna drink it to celebrate something. I think it was getting the house or something. I don't know.
And then you celebrate
don't-
not dying from drinking this stuff.
I don't think Windex is a great celebration drink.
Well, it
It
is.
has the word "win" in it, though.
My God, there's a lot of talking in this movie.
Yes, how dare a character-driven story have dialogue?
It's like we get it. You want a chair? Let's get on to the next thing.
You're just mad because you were one of the camera
not
people.
hearing the dialogue, we can make it up ourselves.
I'm leaving this chair now.
You know, I have the Frenchie wig right here.
Yeah, speaking of Frenchie, Cameo about to come up. Like I said, I wanted to have the expanded Channel Awesome Universe, and even though this was just a one-off April Fool's character,
I love this part though. I would quote it. I quoted it like so many times after it was filmed.
I want to say it was completely by chance that Doug's uncle had that lamp there, the oil lamp. So it's like as soon as I saw that, well, I'll use that. And so,
Tell me, what do you
what do you think, Sally Ann?
I don't know why this is my favorite
You're no better
part.
than me.
So,
I love in the script. I just wrote unintelligible gibberish to the effect of "Rogering his mom."
so storyboards for this, right?
I don't remember how we just threw all that together. I think I just saw the lamp and said, let's do something with that.
So this effect stuff. This is game show reviewer here.
This stuff is not. Game show reviewer did all the live action effects, and then I can't remember the name of the person. I think it was Andrew something. Did the spaceship effects. He was one of the people who worked on To Boldly Flee.
Oh, okay.
Was
I
it
got
not
to meet all these at your wedding.
David Wendell, wasn't it? He did Vigilant. I know that.
Might have been David. Yeah. I'm sorry. I cannot remember. It's been like 3 years.
Yeah, these three were good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fez,
I
Melissa,
liked
and Noel.
them. I think we all did. We get to meet all of them or a couple of them? Because
I'm pretty sure.
They came. They
Yeah,
came
Noah.
for the final part of the movie. You know, because spoilers. Fez's character dies. So, that was. They were a joy to work with. They were absolutely fantastic.
You met Fez at the very least because Fez, did, on his off hours from work, came out and did behind the scenes filming.
right,
yeah,
okay,
that's
yeah,
right.
I remember now. Yeah, I remember hanging with him. He was nice.
He put together the making of documentary for the DVD, which I'm very happy for.
Yeah, he was really excited, and he would jump in and help with some stuff too. Like if you guys needed help holding up cameras or boom mics or whatever,
Yeah.
for him helping.
That Afghan really ties the spaceship together.
Of course. My
Can I
home.
just say, like, this working on the set was really great. Like, obviously I wasn't part of these scenes, but I mean, like, working on this movie was great because you're always very conscientious of how it was for the actors, and we had a green room, and it was nice that we got paid.
It's
The catering
amazing.
was all really good, like Viga's food, delicious.
Oh my god, it was so good though.
I made so much because I'm used to making stuff for fat people. So there's so much left over.
No, I remember Viga at one point during the filming, or we were changing sets, and I walked into the kitchen, and you were like, you had something. I don't know what it was, but you literally just looked at me and you said, "Put this in your mouth," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so delicious."
Pretty much whoever jumped in the kitchen at a certain time, I might use them as drive-by taste testers.
I remember
was
most of the time the rule was like basically stay out while you're cooking, so you're done. Just leave me alone while I'm making stuff.
Pretty much, I was like I'm really serious when I cook for people to make sure everything's really clean and not tasting bad and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
We were I remember there were I don't remember everyone's names at this point, but like my memory's terrible, but the
Well, that's
people
Lewis
who were
and
working...
Nash.
But I remember the people who were working on the sets, building them. They worked so hard. Like we were delayed for like a day or a day and a half because they were just building sets while we were shooting and in between shooting because they were just like I think one of them was like it was flipped to do like one side of the set and then the other.
Yep.
Yep.
The hallway set was on the other side of the bridge set.
I remember.
Yeah, they were working way harder than us. Like, cause actors, I think probably have one of the easier jobs because I mean, we wait in the green room, then we come on set and then say our lines. But everyone else, they gotta they're hammering away, putting stuff together. You gotta organize stuff and make sure everything's going right and be there on set all the time. And we just gotta kind of be the puppets.
Fun fact, by the way, in this scene, Harvey's actually using my phone.
I figured it made more sense to have the characters have different phones.
This is a nice big spacious room, the big party room.
Yep, the
That's
party
where
room
we had our
apartment.
rap party.
Yeah, his old apartment. It was awesome.
I kind of feel like Harvey should have like an old-fashioned Zach Morris phone.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
And it's still too modern for him.
Big fan of your show. Can you review Mass Effect comics? I've never played Mass Effect, so I wouldn't be very good at it.
I reviewed a Mass Effect comic.
Let's see. What was I? Oh, and here's one of the offices in the studio space with the first of the three Team 4-star references, and there's my dad playing the Independent Space Organization officers.
Are we still receiving a signal from the ship? Yes, sir. It's delayed, of course, but we're still getting readings on the ship and the crew.
That office was like my hideout. Just played 3DS games while y'all did stuff.
That's literally where we dump the footage every night too.
Why does he have your logo on his wall?
Because he's assigned to me.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense to have have my logo on his wall.
I like how we just have a cat head there.
Look, it just makes sense, okay?
The studio was nice. The people who ran it were pretty nice too. Like they weren't really around.
Oh yeah, the idea was, if we need anything, just go to them, and they would be happy to help us with anything we needed.
So who's operating Pollo here?
I think
it
Fez
is
was
so
operating
hard. It is so hard to keep a straight face next to Joe.
Oh my god,
So
Joe
funny.
was hilarious.
Oh man.
I think I remember when we were watching, we had the gag where we're watching Amazing Bulk, and then he's just like, what the fuck was that? Was this one of the last things we filmed,
Yep.
all of us in the group?
Yeah,
because
filmed
we
it
had
last
to wait
day.
for Joe.
The idea was
Joe-
we would. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, but no, we had to wait for Joe because halfway through, Joe didn't come until halfway through filming because he was at Witcher in Poland.
Yeah, he was doing the
Right,
premiere of
yeah.
Witcher 3 in Poland.
Yeah, so we gave him an extra day to like gather his, being or whatever, and then fly back to Minnesota to do 4 fun-filled, fun-packed days of just filming constantly nonstop. But we did give him a day off. So
One thing Oh, sorry.
His bean? Gather his bean?
his being, I'm sorry, my accent is terrible. My
Got
bad.
metaphysical.
Yeah, I was just like when. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say on our day off, or our days off, like it was so fun because we'd go to Mall of America and then go on the coasters. Oh
how
man,
was that?
was amazing. What?
How was that? Like, what y'all do?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, it was great. They had like all the coasters and stuff, and it's all like Nickelodeon themed. So it was me and Brad and Kaylin. I think Joe showed up later in the day. That was the day he showed up. And yeah, it was really fun. They had lots of really good food, and it was nice because all the coasters are indoors. So even though it was wintry, it was still nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
We have to do that. We have 6 months of winter up here.
Oh God, this year was bad for winter. To the super chat, do you have plans for future Linkara anytime soon? I'd suggest you watch the 500th episode.
Ooh.
Wait a minute, did you just give away a major hint?
Yep.
Spoilers! Spoiler!
And I am so happy that
Linkara
everyone loves the
dies
You're Not
and then
Pizza
comes
bit.
back on the Genesis planet. We all know this.
I thought you were going to say Genesis console, so I'm like, what?
He comes back as a game reviewer?
Linkara on the Sega Genesis.
Someone suggested that Brad was underutilized in this and the anniversary movies. Potentially. I tried to make Brad as funny as I could be.
I really liked that Brad offered to improvise lines, which was nice. And we got a lot of good improv out of him. So,
He's good at improv.
He is.
Joe's good at improv too.
Oh, I remember now. One of the ideas we had, since the pizza was late and we actually did order pizza during the wrap party, we were like, wait, should we try to get the pizza guy in on this and just have it be like show up and like have it be the stinger?
That's right. That was right.
Oh.
Can I just say the lighting in this place? Great.
Yeah.
I missed that place.
This shot was one of a handful done by a different CG artist, Alyssa Rayab, who did other work on Tiboldi Flea, but also a few shots on the show. And if I recall correctly, she was not really up to doing the full range of shots for the movie, if I recall correctly, and that's why I got other people to help with it.
Yeah, this was a nice looking set.
I'm so happy with this set. It's why I have endeavored to keep it. This is $25,000 on the movie right here.
Did you
How
keep
much
it like in storage somewhere?
I kept it in storage originally, and now it's sitting in my garage. We're hoping to set it up in the spring.
So it survived the tree.
It survived the tree. Most of it survived the tree.
Did some of it get destroyed by the tree in your house?
Yeah, we decided not to try to salvage the door and several of the columns. But all the console survived. Most of the wall pieces survived. So, like, yeah, that door behind us there, that is no longer around.
No.
And
know
this
what's-
is and this is why you're suddenly quite happy that I made you a CGI version of that set.
Yep. What's the set made of? I can't recall what it's made out of. It's made of a lot of different pieces.
Wood, foam, paint, lights.
It's the stencil details and the lights in all the columns and stuff like that that really makes it for me.
You know, it's funny when we all showed up. We weren't. You didn't give us any like costume requirements or anything. It was basically just like at this point you might have some battle gear or something, and then just wear whatever. And then like everyone seemed to have this unspoken rule of like wear dark colors. And then there's me in like a rainbow shirt in the middle.
I just wore the normal shit I wear for my videos.
I love that shirt, by the way.
That
Plus,
shirt
there's
caused
t-shirts.
problems for blue screening later, I should note.
Oh, was there? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, it wasn't any serious problems. It was like, wait, something seems off about this. Oh.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I should have thought of that.
No, you were fine. It was it was easy enough to key out to make a mask around it and not worry about it.
Yeah, at least it's just like central to one area.
Yeah.
It's not the entire shirt.
Was that one of the shots you did and then
Yeah.
handed off to me? Yeah.
Well, because
All right, I
you were
gotta
doing
take
so
off,
many
guys.
green screen shots, I wanted to try to give you some relief.
Okay, was
I
that
Hey,
Brian?
I gotta take off.
All right, see you later, Brian.
All right, thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Unfortunately, editing I will admit editing this sequence was a bit tricky because of the blocking and trying to convey where everyone is without making it clear that like, wait, where'd they go? I think it ultimately worked out in the end, but this is why I am not going to be editing the Long Box movie.
So can I bring up a very important point about filming with Lewis?
Go ahead.
Lewis doesn't know how to remember his lines.
Lewis
What
kind
is
of has a
line?
lot of things on his mind.
No, I just remember like every scene you're in, you were like, what's my line? And I'd say it, and then you'd be like, okay, and then we'd start, and then you'd be like, damn it, I forgot my line. Oh,
Brad
my
was
God.
just wired. This whole every part of every scene he's in, he was just wired.
1 second.
Yeah, I liked his Coke joke. He's like sniffing.
Everybody
get comfortable. Joe, course for Jupiter. Standard speed by 1/2 until we've cleared orbit. Then the standard by 7.
I
Lewis?
remember when we have that joke about tequila and Benetti, it was something else. It was,
It
I
was
think
Golden Girls. The idea was,
But
it
you
was
wanted,
like, I
like,
was trying
a
to think of like a
90s
90s
joke? Is
show
that what it
that I
was?
could transit. Here's the thing. I needed a reason for Brad to jump up like that. And I was like, well, okay, what were movies that the Cinema Snob really liked? He liked Golden Girl. So what's a 90s show? Okay, Golden Girls. I'll just say that. Even though I don't think that's really a 90s kid's wheelhouse.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
But like,
You guys
but
were
even,
just-
even then, I realized it was awkward as all hell. But it was like the only way I could do it. It's like, okay. Then you guys suggested Tequila and Benetti because you guys have been watching that in the green room.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we were doing in the green room was watching Tequila and Benetti.
The whole time, I'm like, what the hell, God?
I was watching some Quantum Leap too. I broke it up a little. But you know, yeah, we were like obsessing over Tequila and Benetti, and like when we were signing the photos, like we were drawing some ones with tequila. So if anyone got any ones with like a little dog on top, it's you
There
got
were a few of those,
special
and people
tequila
were
edition.
quite happy when they saw them.
Nope, I didn't get one.
Tequila and Benetti. Yeah, Everyone else didn't get it. They're not smart enough for Tequila and Benetti.
I think that was your laptop, Jess.
Probably.
Caitlin put a lot of thought into her costume because she had like a kind of full-on battle gear kind of version, and then she had sort of like a casual version, and the strip of hair that's colored is like a little clip-on, so she had,
Well, my thought process was simply wear comfortable clothes, but wear clothes that you can wear multiple days.
Yeah.
Because technically, the course of this movie takes place over like what, 1, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
I remember this
Fred
scene
doing
trying
back there?
I remember this scene. I was trying to key a color key behind Kaylin there, and the strip of green hair that she has, like, oh, that's I think I ended up masking it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Brad is just hamming it up for that background scene.
Yeah, I could just see him the whole time moving around.
He's like, well, act casually. Yeah, here we're coming up on the bit.
Which bit?
The bit with Brad jumping up.
Oh, yeah. That took the first time he did that, I ruined the take because it was really funny. I didn't know he was gonna do the little do. See, that's what's bad about doing like when people improvise around me. Like they can be hilarious, but I'm gonna ruin that take if I don't know it's coming.
That's in the bloopers, is it not?
Yep.
I think it is. Yeah.
How about not talking about the 90s at all?
Yeah, right. Like anyone want to not talk about Tequila and Benetti?
Up he comes. What was he doing down there?
Yeah, I actually didn't want to talk about it.
He was doing a line of coke off the floor, I guess.
Of course.
So anyway, in Shotgun number 3, which features a sweet tri-fold holofoil.
Oh man, like you could just put in dialogue about anything right here. Just anything, just weird and insipid.
One thing I like about this scene is, that melancholy music. It sounds like it's part of the soundtrack until Linkara closes his laptop and he realizes what he'd been listening to.
Yep. I'm listening
love
to
that
sad
bit.
music.
I don't know about this Linkara. His stuff got kind of bad after he sold out.
Yeah.
When I'm being sent up into space to possibly rescue astronauts from God knows what the
All right, you guys, I'm gonna go eat something because I'm starving.
All right. See you later, sweetie.
All right, if you want me to bring anything down, just yell up to the kitchen.
Will do.
Hey.
Hey, Vega, break down a thing.
No! Do it yourself! See you guys a bit later if you guys still doing this.
Alrighty.
And suddenly, Lewis, any last bit of throat recovery you had is gone.
Yep. For Becca Rogers, who apparently just came in on the chat, we were talking about this. We hired people to make the set. Jess found someone. I can't remember how you found him. Through Craigslist. He had mostly experience doing set design for plays and whatnot. And basically, we met a few times, and I gave him the general idea of what I wanted, and he drew up some basic blueprint ideas. We went through a few variations on how big the bridge set was and how many wall pieces we would have, because I kind of wanted a completely closed set, or rather, closed around. But unfortunately, we couldn't. It was cost prohibitive, and plus, we needed a space to get like cameras and lighting in there anyway. So it made more sense to have a big opening in the side.
Right.
So a lot of the times, whenever you see two opposite walls, those are actually just shifting perspective because it's all the same wall.
That'd just be too much to wrap my head around. I'd be like, I don't know who's where, what.
So the guy who designed the set, Mark, apparently, so when we were first emailing back and forth, and I had told him like, hey, this is like a sci-fi space fantasy thing, and he was like, I've never built a spaceship before, please let me do this. And I was like, you're hired. I don't even care. Like,
I keep getting reminded I was the tallest person on the set.
you were.
So I'm throwing off like every single shot.
How tall are you, Nash?
6'1".
Oh, I am actually taller than you. Barely.
Well, you weren't on the set, were you?
True.
Joe in universe has a space station. For those actually in the chat, but the thing is, a space station is kind of stationary.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified in universe. He has a space station.
I gotta be very clear about this because if I don't,
I did like that line where they're like, yeah, we of course I can do
Oh,
that.
yeah, this
Can't
shot.
you? And then Nash, no.
This shot, that wall you see behind us, is the same wall we were just on the other side of. We just had to rearrange this. Yeah, this little piece for the wall here actually comes out. It was a separate part, so we had to shoot it a different way
angle,
around.
and I like it. It's nice and basic, practical effects work here.
I liked the shots that were inside panels like that. They're nice shots.
Yeah, he had a bunch of just random like old tubes and lights and circuit boards in there, just glued onto everything.
I think you said most of the circuit board there was actually something like a decommissioned, taken apart stereo or something like that.
Yeah.
Tape player.
Yep. And Linksano and Boffo cameo.
What's he gonna do to Boffo?
Turn him into a jukebox.
And I actually like how Boffo's still smiling the whole time, like, okay.
Bava, there's a fan comic made after the movie premiered where Linkara comes home, and it's like Linkara and a jukebox, and it's just like, happy birthday! And the jukebox has his wig on.
I turned your accountant into a jukebox.
No, Boffo, no.
Really? No. I'm just fulfilling my obligation as the comic relief. Good work. Keep it up. That's what she said.
But what were they doing next to the debris field?
I love Brad's idea that basically throughout this entire movie, because he was drunk at the party, he's drunk through the whole movie. Yep, Atop the Fourthwall. It's a great fun. It's a great fan comic. I love it.
There was a joke that that Brad was talking about. I think maybe we came up with it together. I don't know, but I remember him joking about doing a fake trailer thing for a Swap the Fourth Wall, you and him switch bodies. It's like a body swap comedy.
Yeah, is it?
Oh no, we switched places, and it's my wedding.
Oh my god.
That it should pick up whatever it could and bring it back to Earth. That is all.
As I recall, my audition, so to speak, as your effects artist was doing motion capture on the screen there, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. Which, yeah, I was certainly gonna. I knew I was gonna need help with that, especially because some shots were gonna be moving.
I ended up very much hating the one of the first scenes in Act 3 because the camera moves so much.
I like Joe with Poyo there.
That scene earlier where Poyo crosses in front of the screen. Oh my god, I hated that shot because Poyo is so reflective. He caught a lot of the green, and I had to basically roto him while he crossed in front of the screen.
You'd be surprised what kind of surfaces will reflect the. I've got a brown table that's just glossy enough to reflect my green screen. It's a pain in the ass.
Ooh, yeah, I believe it.
That's right here. This is one of the shots where we had to basically pretend there was an opposite wall. I just turned my chair around.
Oh, I figured you actually went so far as to mirror it now.
Oh, hey, Brad is in the chat in the YouTube chat. Brad, do you want to get in on the call here?
He says that he can't.
Oh, okay.
I think also
okay.
someone say Kaylin was in there too, but
Oh, geez, I'd be happy to bring. If you
are a
cast member for this movie, we can bring you in.
Yeah, we have you know how to reach us. Just come on, push the buttons.
We're on the Skippy. And my title card artist, Dr. Crafty, just came in. He's also the voice of Poyo.
Nice.
And he can also join in if he would like. Although for now, we got dramatic, exciting action. And if Brian was still here, fine. You don't like the you don't like the commentary and dialogue stuff? Fine. Here's your action. Let's swap the fourth wall.
Ooh.
And
there's
thanks,
your
Brad.
action. One shot.
Explodey.
Nash, were you really scared when we were in these space battles?
Yeah. Because we didn't have seatbelts. Anywhere.
Guys, I'm so mad I never got to go to space.
Well, if you pay enough money, you could probably hang out with Lance Bass in space.
Apparently.
Yeah, if I ever have to remaster any of the effects in this movie, one of the first things I'm doing is I'm gonna build a whole engineering set. One that closely mimics this one.
Yeah, I didn't really have. I mean, it was like Geordie LaForge just got that big ass room with 2-story tall warp drive, and I had
a green screen.
You know what, dude? You still did a lot with the effects with it because you took the original artwork and you added interior lights and red alert sirens and stuff like that.
This is true, and also I remember that shot in particular, the one that Nash was in. I put in all that smoke and sparks and all that. I sent it to you, and it's like, this is the extreme version. Tell me what to take out, and you're like, leave it all in.
That was good.
I will say, Nash, it was great because even though you had a green screen, you were very good at, making it work. Which some people have a lot of problems. I've worked with people who do not know how to use a green screen, and it sucks when they don't. So it was a treat to actually have people who knew what to do with a green screen.
Kyoji Kashu in the chat asking, making a remark about seatbelts. There was a line in the first draft of the script about seatbelts, but it was something. Actually, it was more about the exploding consoles. And that just reminded me of a gag in an old comic strip. It's like, do you really want to have yourself strapped to an exploding console? And there he is.
Who's that?
I don't know, crackers or something, according to some people. So the makeup, unfortunately, there's two things about Mechakara. One is, in my original conception of the movie, he was going to be a puppet. He was going to be a full-on, Terminator skeleton puppet, not fully formed after the explosion in Boldly Flee. Well, he'd still been brought back by the gauntlet, but the idea was that it hadn't finished the job. So that was the original conception. When we realized that the puppet was just not going to be convenient or work well on set, I was like, oh, okay. We're having the same crew as in Boldly Flee. Heather I'm pretty sure was her name Heather?
What about the astronauts?
Damn it, I'm suddenly forgetting her name. But the woman who did the makeup in Boldly Flee was going to be on hand too. So I was like, well, okay, we'll just do Mechakara makeup for that. Unfortunately, she had just had a baby, so she was not up for traveling up there. So we had to improvise some spirit gum, some aluminum foil, and some light makeup around it to do all that. Unfortunately, it's why we just kind of placed some spots to where there was damage into Moldy Flea, but like hadn't finished. Like before, the gauntlet hadn't finished the job.
Wait, don't you just want to come over here and take it intact?
It was very hard to do that makeup, by the way.
The Terror of Death, asking about the whole anxiety and PTSD in universe being caused by the entity. No, it was not caused by the entity. This is a real life thing with him. I haven't had a chance to explain it, but at some point there will be a line Linkara says that he does go to therapy for all this crap.
Probably pays that therapist a whole bunch of money. And
He
has
a
to have
spaceship. He's fine.
and has to almost beyond a doubt have some sort of clearance from the international or independent space organization.
Oh yeah, the part with Mechakara peeling the skin off is still creepy, and that was the burnt jacket. They did that like outside the studio.
With fire.
With fire, they brought a jacket. They tested to make sure it would fit me, and then they're like, okay, take it out and burn it.
Yep.
and the skin ripping off bit. That is a bit I recovered from one of the proposed anniversary movies I pitched to CA, because there was one where I had an idea where Mechakara came back and was the villain of that one too, and I wanted this effect of him ripping off his own face to reveal like a metal the metal skeleton underneath.
Yeah, Jess had to do some burn makeup on my arm for that console thing, but it didn't really work out too well, so I guess it got cut out of the movie.
Yeah, I just edited it so you couldn't see the burns, and just like the things already applied. Looks a lot better on Nick here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it was both of us kind of guessing, because Jess, I know you only had like some theater experience with makeup. Is that what?
Yeah. So like, Nick was gracious enough to, he was like, after we did the base layer for him, he was like, I can finish this if you need to go help Allison. So I said, okay. So I came over to you and I was like thinking about it, and because film and theater are completely different universes when it comes to makeup, I kind of had to improvise with you a little bit, because a lot of the stuff that I know would go well under like direct lighting, and because film lighting is not always direct, it didn't really show up as well. But the makeup for Mechakara that I did both at Melissa and Fez's house, and what we did while we were on set at the studio, I was able to do that just because we knew already that the tinfoil was going to already pick up some of the light anyway, so I just kind of worked around that.
Ace saying the Wrath of Khan references. The thing is, my idea was, since I had never written a screenplay before, I decided to, while I wasn't going to quote line for line bits from Wrath of Khan, I wanted to have the movie follow Wrath of Khan structurally. So originally in the first draft, we saw Mechakara a lot earlier. We see him getting formed, we see him assimilating the crew and all that stuff. Because that's what happened in Wrath of Khan. They find Khan. Khan uses the wormy thingies to take control of Chekhov and Terrell. Everyone still there?
Yeah.
Okay, we all got quiet.
Yeah, sorry.
We're just enthralled by the movie. We're looking at Nash's acting here.
Nash had his lines on his phone.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did,
not.
and it was great.
You did. I remember very clearly you had the script pulled up.
Yeah, I remember this was in the script, that we were all like, this was right after the battle, so we were all taking it really hard. but there was like a note that like me especially was taking hard, so I was trying to like be all sad in the background.
Part of the
I
problem
guess because
is
my arm got jacked up, I was depressed.
part of the problem with this scene here is I wasn't there when you guys were filming this because it was a Harvey Fine voice scene with me in it. So you all filmed this, and then since I was in the shot with Harvey, we had to shoot mine separate. So I'm not actually there with these people right now.
Yeah, that is true.
I think it still works.
You're pretty good about like when we were getting ready to film something, like we would ask, you know, like at what point this is and what we're supposed to be feeling at this point, because like emotional continuity is something that sometimes gets kind of forgotten or messed up in some things, and it's better to be okay. So this is right after the battle, so we're gonna be a little bit more down here.
The idea was that like the rest of the movie before this point was kind of goofy, kind of jokey. Haha, we're in space, it's all fun. And it's like, well, crap, we almost just died.
All the luster ran out at that point.
Yep.
The doors were just like on Star Trek, you know, just like like someone with like, you know, a wire just.
Actually, didn't that break?
Sort of,
I
yeah.
swear.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, so we had to do it. Yeah. We had to do it manually because the wire contraption thingy wasn't working.
It was very hard to pull that thing. That door was heavy.
And you know, if it weren't for that opening scene where y'all are emerging from the darkness onto the bridge, I probably would have rotoscoped some sort of background in that.
Oh, someone in the chat just talked about this. This is great. I completely halted filming for half an hour.
Yeah.
Because I was on Twitter and I saw something and I walked out. And all I had to say was, "Hey, Lewis, Frank Miller's making a Dark Knight 3." And that was it. A half hour, Lewis just went off.
I was so
great.
mad at you.
It was great. And you think he'd stop for a minute? You think he stopped and he goes, "And another thing about Frank Miller." And he just keep going again. It was great.
Even
I
better
was
part.
simultaneously so overjoyed that you had done that, and at the same time, I was just constantly checking my watch and being like, "God damn it!"
Best part is 501st episode. I'm reviewing that comic.
Oh my God, why?
Because it's very bad.
See, the brief bits I read of it, actually, it's not too terrible, but that's mostly because Frank's not writing it.
Yeah, I remember Kaylin was really actually mad at you when she did this scene.
She was great in this. I'm sad
she was
because
using it for the scene. Yeah.
I'm sad because her performance was so great, but the problem is, you know, because everyone was shouting, we had to turn down the intensity of like the boom mic and everything, so everything was so echoey.
Oh God, you're fighting that echo in post too.
Yeah, so unfortunately we had to dub in a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, the space we were in, we're like, think about your high school gymnasium. It was that the studio, it's like a professional studio in that city, and it's like for all sorts of things. So our set was like maybe in a quarter of that big area, and it's just big open area, and the reverb was crazy.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's why it's so good that we had the boom mic. But like I said, the boom mic can only do so much, especially if it gets really loud. If we're shouting, you know, the boom mic, you know, is going to peak, so you have to turn it down and adjust things and move it farther away.
Well, that's why I really.
It's hard to fight echo when you have no indoor voices.
We like to project.
Well, that's why I really liked that crew was supposed to be on set earlier so that we could test all that and make sure that it was all ready to go. And then by the time the actors got there, all we had to do was adjust for them.
Yep, Terry and Justin.
Yeah, Terry and Justin were great about that kind of thing. So.
And then we had some additional help. I've already told the insurance story on the DVD more or less. I didn't realize how to get insurance for a movie studio kind of thing. And in my panic state, I had worked with some people on an independent web series called Super Academy, and I was like, I really hate to ask you, can you help me with this? And do insurance through whatever you guys did. I didn't end up needing their help with that, but because they were so willing and able to come help me with that, they asked, could we come down and do some behind-the-scenes filming for the thing, and they did so and actually helped out and became part of the crew as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be most likely working with them for the Longbox movie.
Hey, Lewis, a couple of super chat questions came through.
Yep.
First one, and I know the answer to this, from Pokaloon15. So I noticed that Vice didn't like the name Comicron 1, which makes me wonder, what did he call his ship?
Vice did not really have a name for the ship. It was just the ship. But in an early idea I had, I was thinking he might have named it Daedalus, hence why in the little extra trivia facts in the pre-show screen for the stream, it's mentioned that Comicron 1 is a Daedalus-class ship.
And there was another one. Moderate that.
I got
could the
you got that before I could.
could the 500th review be Spider-Man related?
It might be. It might not be. You'll have to see on Wednesday. Will Longbox be a horror comedy or just horror? Just horror. There will be funny lines, of course, but it's intended to be a scary movie.
Okay, back to the movie.
Kaylin's so great. She's really great.
I am sad that we didn't get to do the effect I wanted to do. I wanted to have, in the script, instead of Fez falling in like this and the fix this thing that was improv on set, the original idea was we would have a charred, bony hand, kind of smoking, fall into frame to show that basically all of his life force had been drained by the gauntlet.
You could have gotten one of those little Terminator 2 hands.
That would have that.
I like showing that my villains are creepy and scary.
We are prepared to follow your commands. However, there is an additional problem.
And all the and originally it was
There's
supposed to be
there's
like
a days without incident thing on the board behind.
which was crossed out and turned to 0.
Finite supply of biological units from which to drain energy from.
What's really disturbing? What's really disturbing about the days without incident board is that it was not a high number to begin with.
Look, space travel's scary and dangerous.
How much of the
there were
bad
4
stuff-
astronauts originally.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
I forgot about that.
who put together the tank with the power glove in it?
They did. Basically, we knew we needed an area for a quote-unquote science lab. So they had this. So we had this fish tank. Well, here's the thing. This was not originally supposed to be a house ship. The idea was I was going to contract Mark out to do both Comicron 1 and the Kyle Estes set, because I was thinking it would be more like an actual spaceship, kind of sterile tube kind of thing that would also be in the studio. But with the time frame we had, about 3 to 4 months to build the set, he didn't think he could do both.
What's on your mind, Lawyer?
So we decided, well, okay, I will work around the scripting problems. Well, hey, why not have Dr. Insano at the end of Tiboldi Flea? He takes back the house ship. Maybe he sells that technology and makes a lot of money off of it. So yeah, it was budget costs informing production design. Hence fish tank with Malachite's hand in the middle of it. On the super chat question, the 500th will fit with the follow-up theme of following up with previous episodes this year. Dramatic Harvey and Nash scene.
But what does Nash need with a starship?
Why is Joe cuddling a bear? Because we needed a cameo from my teddy bear.
I love that Joe sleeping with the teddy bear.
And I believe that's Cinema Snob right behind him, right?
Yep. You can't see him very well, but Brad is supposed to be there, and it's good that you can't really notice him there because he's in the next scene.
You're not the only one who has clones running around.
This was a shitty sleepover. We didn't have sleeping bags. We didn't have pillows. 1 star. 1 star on Airbnb. 1 star.
What would the instructions be to get to this particular place in Airbnb? Stand still. We will teleport you aboard.
Jump and hold your breath.
There you go.
What is with the bear? My bear is awesome. That's what the deal is with it. I love my teddy bear.
Bear.
Joe's channeling his inner Radar O'Reilly.
You'd think if we knew we were going to be traveling for days, like there'd be like some sleeping bags or pillows.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be for days. The idea, it was supposed to be like a short hop for like 2-3 hours.
A 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour, in fact.
You go out there, you see, oh, there's the Kyle Estes. Oh, all their communications just failed because everyone obviously believed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe got a pillow.
Fucking Joe.
I think it's
took the
because
one
we actually
pillow.
found one on set and not because we actually had one.
Can I just a quick anecdote about me and Joe? Joe was riding with me in my truck to the studio back and forth in the mornings and the afternoon. One day I wanted to get a new keyboard before I headed back home. I wanted to get this gaming keyboard, and we found a Best Buy nearby, and next to it was a Dick's Sporting Goods, and apparently Joe had never seen a Dick's Sporting Goods. So we pulled into the parking lot, and there's this giant sign that says Dick's, and he had this wonderful, joyful, is this real? Oh my God! Oh, the sign says Dick's kind of thing going on, and it was sort of like watching a child enjoy their first orange for the first time. You know, it was just this great feeling. I was like, yes, the sign says Dick's. It does.
I think that's my favorite story I've never been a part of.
This bit right here, the scene between Mars Girl and Pollo, that was added in only in the final draft of the script because Pollo was not in the movie until the final draft of the script. Because I figured, well, logistics of this puppet on top of everyone else, we already got so many other characters, and I think when I first wrote the script, he didn't have a voice actor. There was the Microsoft Sam voice, and of course, legally I can't use the Microsoft Sam voice in a commercially sold movie.
Was it difficult to get Pollo last minute?
I know his agent, just gave me the runaround the whole time. But no,
that guy asks a lot, but he's worth the money.
What happened was like a person commented, "I wonder if Pollo's in the movie," and someone else like, "Of course he is. He's kind of the mascot of Atop the Fourth Wall." And I just stared at that. I was like, "Well, hell, they're right."
You have so many Pollos, dude. You still have so many Pollos.
I have like 3 or 4. That's not that many.
We filled my girlfriend's back seat with Pollos when you moved.
And Tom Servo.
They got their own chairs just because they were fragile. So, just so many Pollos.
Oh, I only ever saw the one Pollo when I was up there, the original. Which reminds me, that was the one thing I was actually gonna ask you if I could take high-res photos of all the Pollo models while I was up there, and I completely forgot.
Nah. This was me operating Pollo, I believe, and I'm like on the ground on like a furniture dolly or something like that. It would just kind of wheel me over there. I tried to give that floating effect while the camera moved and be low enough that they didn't catch me. Might have been me, might have been Dodger. Can't remember. But yeah, Pollo's edition. So I added this scene with Mars Girl because I was like, well, crap, I can't. I need to have like a reason for Pollo to be in the movie, and Mars Girl hasn't had an emotional scene. The episode with all the feels, aside from bits with Linkara. But one of the appeals of this for me, writing this with me, is having all the side characters interact with all the other reviewers because they had never really done that before. So Blue Buds right here.
Sorry, that's actually kind of funny. You have Kaylin is the one character, huh? I need Mars Girl to have an emotional scene. Have it with the robot.
And of course, as many people have pointed out, unfortunately adding in this scene with Pollo and everything kind of created some problems with the pacing of Part 3, because basically it's just three or four emotional scenes back to back to back. But unfortunately, there's not really any way I could have re-edited them or anything like that. Although one editing bit that we did fix, the piano tune that was playing over Mars Girl and Pollo was also in the Nash scene in the rough cut. And as people pointed out, okay, by the third time you use this tune, it's suddenly become a farce.
Do you have the list of parts we need?
Yeah, I'm just training my fill-in for while I'm down there.
Oh God, I love this scene. That was awesome. I'm gonna do that again.
Nash, you have the best 1,000-yard stare.
That's some face acting.
I especially like how Nash's like, okay.
I hate to step away, but actually I really need to go to the bathroom. I will be right back.
The movie's ours now.
You got to it before I could.
Do we want to talk about the steakhouse?
The steakhouse?
The very first night dinner Lewis took us all to, while Lewis is away.
Oh, well, at the Mall of America?
Yeah, Lewis took us all. First night we all got there. Most of us were there. Lewis took us out for dinner, for steak. Nice place. We all ordered. Guess what the hell Lewis ordered? Just guess. Just take a guess.
No,
guess.
he couldn't. He wouldn't. Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he definitely would, because everyone else got steak.
Go to
I
a
don't
nice
even remember that, though. I think there was like a window, and we could see a rejected proposal behind us.
Oh,
Like someone was proposing to his girlfriend, and we could see it through the window, and it did not go well.
I think Brad pointed that out to me, actually.
Oh man, poor guy.
Mm.
Everyone in the channel like, we know what he ordered. Yeah, you know what he ordered.
Yeah.
You know what he ordered.
One of the first times, maybe the first time that I went out to eat somewhere with Lewis, he bought lunch for both of us, and we both got chicken tenders. Pretty
That's
delicious.
called enabling, Allison.
Well, I mean, chicken tenders are delicious, so...
Chicken tenders are a sometimes food.
Oh, he's back.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
We were all absolutely quiet while you were away.
Likely story.
Check the chat.
Chicken tenders.
Nash was telling us the steakhouse story.
Look.
From the
You
first night.
got a problem with what I eat?
No, but you were at a steakhouse.
Now, which steakhouse? Was this during the production of the movie, or that time I went to the really nice steakhouse?
The one that we went to the really nice steakhouse at the very beginning of the film.
Oh, that one, yeah. Tony Roma's.
Yeah. Which apparently no longer exists because Viga and I walked by it like a week ago while I was in Minnesota, and it doesn't exist anymore.
And that sucks. Tony Roma's was great. Uh-oh, the Tony Roma's police are coming. Now tell them the other steakhouse story, Nash.
Oh yeah, this was Anime Midwest one year. You, me, and Brian and April. We went to this really awesome steakhouse, and they had like $100 steaks. It's like the best. I swear to God, I ordered one there. It's the best steak I've had in my life. And Brian got a steak, and April got a steak, and Lewis orders a fucking hamburger.
Not everyone can be a steak connoisseur like you, Nash.
Steaks were like, $80, $100. Burger was $12. You know what? One at the hotel was better. If it makes you
It
feel...
was really good. We went to that Bubba Gump Shrimp Company restaurant in the Mall of America. That was delicious.
Oh, I remember I walked past that.
I'm not even like a Forrest Gump fan. I just love that it exists and persists. It's just like that the restaurant is still going strong, and they would still ask like Forrest Gump trivia.
Oh, I like this. At the chat, Lewis, Tony Romo's closed down because the head chef went postal after someone ordered chicken tenders.
I'll say this, Nash. After a year later, for Vega and I's anniversary of our first date, we went to the steakhouse and we ordered the expensive steaks.
It was the best steak you had in your life, wasn't it?
Of course it was. But I was saving money that first time we went there.
Anyone ever been to Amarillo? Amarillo, Texas? There's a steakhouse there. They have a steak challenge. I forget. It's like a 72-ounce steak. If you can eat the 72-ounce steak plus all the sides and trimmings, which includes a salad, a potato, or something like that, in 1 hour, you get it for free.
Has anyone ever done it?
There is one woman, and you look at her, and she's so petite, you'd swear this is impossible. She has downed 3 of those challenges inside of, I think it was like 20 minutes.
Wow. Oh my God.
Uh-huh. I forget the name of the place, though. I'd have to look it up again. They have some decent steaks there, too. Of course.
So, this sequence right here where I explain another direct connection with To Boldly Flee. Now, I like all the anniversary movies, but the problem, but one of the things I didn't like about To Boldly Flee was that Doug introduced this idea of this anomaly is altering Europa into a livable planet, mostly because it's a 2010 reference. But I was like, well, I want to do something with that. I want to actually see okay, let's explore a bit. This world has life on it. This world has energy on it. Could this thing theoretically bring life to the dead or dying, that kind of thing?
Yeah, wasn't that the plot of Star Trek 3?
Well, it kind of was,
right?
Well, sort of. The Genesis planet was a whole other thing.
It was a planet, it brought someone to life, and it's got life on it, right?
Yep. This is where I do break away from Star Trek 2 and apparently do Star Trek 3, not realizing it. In my case, originally in Star Trek 2, Spock was supposed to die in the first battle with Khan, but because that got leaked, they decided, well, okay, we'll push his death back later on instead of making it a big shock moment.
And I think that's also where the Kobayashi Maru sequence came from. It's like, we're going to trick him out with the Kobayashi Maru.
Yep. So in my case, I actually had him die in that first battle. And then I brought him back to life.
Unlike Star Trek 2, they would have brought him back as like a Force ghost or something, if I remember right.
Oh, this was the fart bit.
Oh, he farts.
No, it's a poop joke is what it is.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, because this was so hard to deliver that line because I had to be serious but make a poop joke.
Poop, yeah.
I like doing that. I like doing that scene though. It was fun to do some acting.
I wonder if anybody's ever actually gone through and still framed and looked at what's in those what's written on those boxes.
Most people have. I think there might have been a few that never got on screen, unfortunately. But
they spent a long time on all those boxes had labels.
Yep.
Some of them serious, some of them Diamanda Hagen's minions, as a reference to some of the controversy that she had with Boldly Flea. Because it's supposed to be like the executor's, storage facility. So the idea was, okay, that's why they have film equipment here, and that's why there's stuff there. A Spoonie clone is in there.
But nothing's happened to Alan's body yet.
Snowflame's cocaine.
I think that one was my favorite one. Wasn't there also one that was like Brad's confiscated cocaine?
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Why are there so many crazy inventions on Europa? Basically, I had the idea that they were throwing everything at the wall with experimental weapons as they developed the death bomb.
There is a quick gag on that view screen. You notice the two ships sort of flying around the planet. I deliberately made that just like the tactical screen on Enterprise on Star Trek 2. Oh yeah, and coming up I think is the last green screen shot I worked on for the film. If I remember
because
right.
I screwed up. I thought we had filmed this, but we hadn't. I thought the idea was, film all the regular Linkara bits for this scene, and then film the Mechakara bits right afterwards. Mm-hmm. So the last shot of Linkara would be him walking towards the camera with Mechakara behind him. Unfortunately, I apparently screwed up and didn't shoot that. The him walking up behind him bit. So I was like, well, crap. Actually, it was the other way around. I did the Mechakara walking up. I didn't have Linkara in front of the camera.
No, you did. It's just it was minus the hat.
Oh, that's right. We did. For some reason,
right. We did it without the hat.
And I don't know how the hell I could forget to wear the hat.
Especially with all the people on set, if I remember correctly. You telling me this.
So I was like, well, crap. So I just quickly filmed it in front of a green screen. And I thought you made it integrate very well.
I'm very happy you did film it on a green screen because, quite honestly, I'm not sure how I would have done this if it was going to be a simple, quote-unquote, split screen. I think it looks a hell of a lot better as a green screen element.
It worked really well, too.
I think I even talked you into letting me do the rack focus.
Yeah, during these shots, I'm pretty sure it is Justin who is playing Mechakara because he would later play Uber Mechakara at the end.
Yeah, and also it was great because,
No, it wasn't Justin. It was Terry because
Justin
got injured.
Right.
Don't you talk about my boxes.
And by this point, the makeup up for Mechakara's face is not quite as doing as well.
Yeah, no.
We tried.
You're really good about asking for people's input on stuff with their characters and listening to if someone was like, I think maybe I would say it more this way. Like, you're really open to that stuff. So that was nice.
Oh, okay. So since we're in the on Europa in the with all the boxes, can we talk about how annoying it was to constantly have to move those boxes around to make it look like different parts?
Yeah.
The damn planet.
They had to keep rearranging the boxes for different shots to make the area look bigger than it was.
Yes.
Because the bridge set is on the other side of that warehouse.
Right.
Yeah, if you look close, you'll only ever see 3 walls there. That's because if you point the camera the other direction, you'll see the bridge set.
If you actually tried to map out this place, apparently this room is more like 8 sides.
Complete with a garage door, apparently.
Yep. B-gun.
Oh, yeah, the effect I remember that I said I would not volunteer to do, and I did it anyway. Remember that, Lewis?
Yep, I'm still very proud of you did that. I mean, it was exactly the kind of effect I was expecting out of it. Just draw a tiny little bee thing, and then just have it move in like circles, or is it back and forth?
It was just a wiggle expression. It was like 1B, wiggle, and then, make a whole bunch of them do the same thing. I remember specifically telling you, I will not volunteer to do this, because I was volunteering to do everything at this point. I mean, I would have filmed the movie if you'd let me. But I remember it's the one effect I said I will not do.
And then you did it anyway.
I remember I did it because I had 1 hour to kill before our meeting, before you went to Youmacon with the work print. I was going to hand over the last of the effects that you needed, and that one was just going to be one of the blank ones. I'm like, I'm curious. Can I do it? And yeah, I did it.
Bees, good golly.
Yeah, didn't you say a better line would have been, bees, thank God.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
I know. Someone pointed out, I was like, God damn it, that is a better line.
There's something you could dub over for the Blu-ray release.
There you go. It's the Lucas edition.
Yeah, there you go.
And where Mechakara starts screaming, no!
As the fist comes up, no!
And the 90s Kid in Loop dramatic scene. To try to have...
Extremely dramatic.
Yep. To try to build his character a bit.
And it's because of this that I named the character when I did the graphic for the Sleepwalker. The character's official name is Evelyn Kidd.
Mm-hmm. The Evelyn thing is a reference to news radio. Because Phil Hartman played a guy named Bill McNeil, but it turns out Bill in one episode is not his first name. It is actually his middle name, and his real name was Evelyn. First of all, it's pronounced Evelyn.
It was awesome and glorious and wonderful, and most importantly, it was fun. And I think everyone should be having more fun, don't you?
Yeah, they should.
And dead air.
Yep. Linkara was possessed at this point, but like the entity, I think, was just taking it easy and letting things play out.
Yeah, I get to see the entity sort of recline back like, hey, it's kind of entertaining. Let's see what happens.
Cartoon physicist, yes, it will be. The stream is pretty much going to be saved in its entirety for archive purposes, except for the for episodes that were replayed. Yeah, we decided we kind of very quickly propped up a wall near the door there because we were like, well, we need something there because we don't want another inky void for people to walk into.
I just figured that's how you get from deck to deck, The turbo lifts all have their lights turned off.
Look, 90s Kid has to do maintenance on this entire ship. It's very hard for him to, change all the light bulbs.
Yeah, I wish I had a higher resolution engineering to work with these kinds of scenes.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's what I had from Marrowbot before he disappeared.
Yeah.
We're gonna get through this.
A George Lucas edition of this film has to have a CGI dance scene.
Like right in the background behind Nash there, we're going to have like a bunch of dancing tauntauns or something.
There you go.
Oh, this was a pain to shoot because they had to keep angling the green screen to different areas behind us.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't big enough to cover the entire area, so they had to tilt it and adjust it for every time we changed shots. It was
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh no, it's okay. It was challenging.
Lewis, this just means that you need to buy more green screens for the next movie. That's all.
I don't actually think I have a lot of green screen shots for the long box movie. Atop the Fourth Wall 2, The Search for Marrowbot.
Oh, I like that. Comicron 1 should have those sliding tubes from space cases.
There you go.
Let's say the worst thing happens, our fears are realized, and Linkara gets killed.
I bet 90s Kid would know how many light bulbs there are on Comicron 1.
Yes, but he's a fictional character, so I can't help you there.
Wait, hold on. You mean you don't have a legitimate spaceship?
Future Linkara is there. I think my dad is in the chat.
Put random objects.
And yeah, the WYSIWYG shirt was his. Like we searched through some old clothes to try to find a shirt for 90s kid, and we found the "What you see is what you get" shirt, and it was like, that's brilliant. We'll go with that.
So is that actually originally legitimately what it stood for?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, now they had to turn the green screen around in front of us.
Yep.
Actually, if I remember the effects correctly, this was blue.
Yeah, because the console is green.
Yep, that's right.
AT3W, Star Crash. Of course, other nicknames for this movie: To Boldly Flee. With eventually the next Atop the Fourth Wall movie being To Boldly 3.
There you go.
And Joe's Lightning. Because that was a thing in Joe's video. He had the Force Lightning, and they never used it in any of the anniversary movies.
I don't know why, because it's such a cool thing.
Oh man, doing the lightning effects, especially trying to do the detail from the tips of the fingers. I actually hand tracked all the fingers over the course of like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, I hate doing hand tracking. It's such a pain in the ass.
Isn't it though? Especially with Joe shaking that much. It's like, oh, this.
So worth it, man. It looks so good.
It does look really good.
Looks like they got their power back too. Their shields and weapons are heating up.
At least this time we'll have a fair fight. I prefer a fight where
Now Kaylin and Allison getting a scene together.
How strong is that ship? Under normal circumstances, they would not withstand the
Talking about ice cream and boys. Yeah, there was a part you wanted me to like giggle at the end of the scene.
Yeah,
every time I was doing it, it was coming off really creepy.
A bit, yeah. I think the laugh I wanted you to replicate, when I was writing this scene was like when you and Phelan did that crossover of Karate Dog. And like like at the end when like Phelan glares at you at the beginning, you're just like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just trying to make it sound more natural, and it was just coming off like I was like creepy Squidward or something. I don't know. It wasn't working out too good.
Well, the take they went with, the take that eventually made it up, I think that sounds pretty natural to me.
Oh,
sort of like it's very much like a oh this is gonna be good.
It's probably the only usable takes from that.
There were usually a lot of really good takes, and it was hard to pick which ones to go with because you guys are all good at what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Not you, Nash.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good, Nash.
Prequel, Descending the Third Wall.
Is there any regrets putting all that work into Comicron 2 only to have it get hijacked and sent it to oblivion before it even lost the new ship smell?
Yeah.
More on my part because I'm the one who had to build the thing.
The plan was always that it was going to come back. It's just, it was supposed to get destroyed. Yeah, it was supposed to be a much shorter time in between it being destroyed and being brought back. Because the plan was that that we destroy it, and then for Halloween that year we'd bring it back.
Oh no, they're referring to Comicron 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, screw that thing.
See? I build you a flying speedboat.
The soft reboot once more atop the fourth wall.
Beneath atop the fourth wall.
Infinite Linkara. Okay, base name, what's the in-canon explanation for all the humming sounds Linkara, not Mechakara, makes in this film? I do not know what you're referring to. That's why I didn't answer it.
What was the question?
What is the in-canon explanation for all the humming sounds Linkara, not Mechakara, makes in this film?
Humming, like, that kind of hum?
I'm assuming that might be it, but then again...
Do you mean the reverb, maybe?
I think I know what they're talking about.
If they're talking about that, then you know... Okay, I'll just say it out loud. If you're basing that off of that friggin', you know, image meme or whatever, the guy claiming to be a production assistant on Kick-Ass, yeah, that was full of it.
Wasn't that the one that claimed Matthew had a gun on set or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I love that idea of him carrying around a gun.
Also, if this is an attempt at owning me, thanks for the $7. Here we go. What we did with this was we had some we like pulled out some of the fake skin on top, and then we had like blood pooled in above that fake blood that would, like, you know, ooze down. Unfortunately, it just kind of all came out onto my nose at once.
You know what I actually like is how simple how very simple the makeup is. The sound effects for it are equally as simple.
Yep. You know what the sound effects are?
I do.
Do the rest of you know what the sound effects are?
Probably not, because I didn't work on this part of the movie.
That is the sound of paper tearing.
Oh, okay.
Will be entering firing range in 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Yeah, because the first time I watched the movie, I was like, what? Because I remember you saying that during the director's commentary we did, but I think, like, I kind of was, like, not paying attention, like, at all.
Oh, God, Brad Senior, I love it. And I was so mad when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, like that year, or like before this movie came out, and then Star-Lord did his distraction scene. It's like, damn it all, they're gonna think I ripped this off.
Anyone know if there's a way to do a super chat with PayPal?
I do not. I'm sorry to say, this is the first time I've ever tried to do it.
Technically, The Last Jedi ripped off you.
With the phone call from Poe.
Yeah.
Question: was this in the script, or did you ask Brad to make it up as he went along? This was in the script. I think he only changed one bit for the description of the Nazi one, where like the woman is in love with, or like the Nazi commander is in love with a Jewish woman or something like that. $7 is to those of us who actually work. Now $9. Thanks. I'm tempted to
they paid you $9 to tell you suck. Is
yep.
I know. Begging your mom for a credit card is really exhausting.
I mean, I would ban them, but they keep giving me money.
That's fair.
The edge. I'm just.
Oh, there it is.
Powerful.
The first appearance of the Vigilant.
Yep, Vigilant had never been seen before, and I always hoped it would show up. So yeah, the movie was a great excuse to finally do that.
And also coming up is that one scene that I quite literally put together in one day. The hallway explosion.
Yep, which in the original version you sent me also had a Cybermat flying out the window.
Yes, that's right.
I just felt that was mean. To Fan Story Video Studios. Hopefully you will see Margaret again. You were actually supposed to see Margaret in the preliminary round of the Contest of Champions, but the actor was not available, so I changed it to 90s Kid instead. But that's why the dialogue is there. Like, trust me, I know that was supposed to be Margaret saying, "Yeah, I know if it was your fault or not, or if it was really you or not."
To be honest, I think '90s Kid works better.
Eh.
I mean, there's a good argument on TV tropes as to that it shows a level of trust that Linkara has in '90s Kid suddenly.
True, but at the same time, it was also to reassure fans that Margaret was not still possessed by the entity.
True.
Have I read Batman Contagion? I have never read Batman Contagion.
Boom, 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 boom.
I love that shot of it flying over and doing damage along the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy.
There was also supposed to be a thing where like panels would open up in the back of Comicron 1, and those would be the aft batteries. Unfortunately, they could not alter the model enough to do that.
Yeah, all I ended up doing later on was adding the hangar deck.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell by the way I walk, I'm a woman's man. No time.
Nice. For Poyo's next body could be a mech suit. Maybe. Maybe Poyo will be the Comicron Megazord.
Oh my god, I would love that.
I imagine ISO was pissed at the destruction of the Kyle Estes. Well, here's another thought. Even though ISO continues to work with Linkara, anything Linkara touches that has the ISO insignia on it tends to go away.
Yeah. Am I still friends with Mars Girl? I hope so.
There's some sort of energy field around here that can repair damaged or dead tissue.
Where does the ISO 9000 line come from? Back in the 90s, at least, I don't know if it's still a thing, there was this certification for like workplaces that if they were ISO 9000 certified.
By the way, I still have those pants.
Yep, because I asked Nick to just buy some goofy, bright-colored pants, and it turns out they fit you really well, so you kept them.
Yes.
They look like they're just from the 90s.
I just told him, like, could you go to a rag stock or used clothing store and just find something as outlandishly goofy and terrible looking as you could, like very tacky.
Yeah.
What's the in-story explanation? These were just there in a box.
Yep.
Yep.
Has a pair of clown pants here.
Yep, because we even see that there are like suit pants and tie and jackets, in some of the boxes. So clearly there's other clothes too. Silver Dragon. Yeah, I didn't know if ISO 9000 was still a thing.
Some of this stuff, there's a shot coming up later where you and I are behind some boxes, and that was the very first thing I shot. Maybe the first thing that was shot at all that wasn't on your own. Yeah, it was kind of weird getting into the right energy there because it was like the first thing. So I'm like, oh, I guess we're in a big battle now, right?
Yeah, we had to reorganize some of the shots when we learned that not only was Joe not going to be available for the first few days, but Lanny had a family emergency, so he couldn't. So he had to cancel at the last second and reschedule like 2 or 3 days later. Michael Perry, opinion of Boom Studios Power Rangers. I have only read a handful of them, and I liked them. They were good stuff. And I will be reading all of Shattered Grid, and I liked the first part of Shattered Grid.
I'll be right back. I need to go let my dogs out.
Dun dun dun.
And yeah, this was originally supposed to be the first suit actor when I had the idea of the puppet Mechakara. I wanted the idea of being, okay, scrawny little skeleton, and then suddenly, boom, huge, powerful looking, hulking Mechakara.
Nash, you're so silly bringing a melee weapon to a gunfight.
Yeah, he's just got the hammer and all of us are shooting.
I offered to make it like a Thor's hammer thing, but you were just like, no.
Yeah.
Just a hammer.
And you know what? It's funnier that way.
I don't have all your fancy sci-fi bullshit. I have a Home Depot.
I have a Home
Get off my lawn.
I have an army. I have a Home Depot.
That was my favorite line in the movie, by the way, the way Nash delivered, "You have guns, shoot him."
This bit was the only time I recall, Allison, Nash, you can correct me on this, where I actually lost my temper.
I don't remember.
I was trying to explain to you guys how we're going to walk in a semicircle around Mechakara, and I wasn't explaining it very well.
Yeah, I think maybe we were a little confused, but with most sets, directors are gonna have moments where it's not their best because it's just frustrating having to work on a big project, and most of the time, it's it happens. It's just part of being on a set and having so much to do.
No, I am still sorry. And once I wrote Poyo into the script, I needed to have an explanation, why he isn't involved more in the fight, because he's got a gun built into him. Imaginary Access, we are not showing the 500th episode today. It is coming on Wednesday. This is just a celebration live stream.
This is just a tribute.
I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah. You got that reference.
Once TJ comes back, I will, some random guy. Yes, the Elite Force effects for the Infinity Modulator for his gun, that was deliberate.
Didn't Joe and maybe Nick have to stay later that day to do their fight scene there with the boxes and all that?
Yes, because we were starting to run out of time, and it was getting to be a late day. I think that was the same day that that Joe paid for Arby's for everybody, which was very nice of him.
Oh, that fucking stunt where you kept me tumble and kept landing on my damn knees.
I'm sorry, man.
I love the way that you ran, Nash.
Yeah, your running was great.
This was our first shot, I think.
Yeah, this right here, 90s Kid and Loop behind the boxes. That was the first thing we filmed of the movie.
Oldest guy on the set, and you're having me fall on the mat 6 times. We had to get that shot.
Yeah,
you did it though.
During filming, yeah, that tube fell out. So we were like, well, we need to duct tape it back on to keep it on. I was like, well, why don't we just incorporate it into the movie?
Actually, Nash, you got hurt during you were not overly fond of that shot. I'm not overly fond of that shot either, because I could not color correct that shot worth anything. It either came out purple or it came out green.
That's right. Dude, you also did all the color correction on the movie to try to make things actually look decent.
Yeah, and I didn't exactly do the best, but
I think it works for the most part.
Yeah, I think it looks good for what you had to work with.
Laughing at that reaction. The stuff by that chain link was in the area where we had the table and we would eat.
Yeah, that was the kitchen area.
Yeah, it was the kitchen.
But I figure we need, let's try to vary up the place and make it look like it's a larger space that we're working with. That picture of a dog in the background.
How did no one notice that, or did we just notice and not care?
I think we just decided we didn't care.
Yeah, I think at this point we had hit fuck it.
That's probably true.
Why the
This
Napa
was like
joke?
what?
Because I liked referencing, Team 4-Star, and since Nick was there anyway, I was like, why don't we just do this as a gag? And it turned out it worked perfectly as an in-between shot for some of the fight. Why does Joe have lightning powers? I don't know. Why does a YouTuber have a spaceship?
Oh, yeah, that was my suggestion. Do the robot jocks thing with
yes,
thumbs
and
up.
I love that.
Yeah, this when the fight scene stuff was going on, the big stuff, that was the day, almost 2 days before, or the day or two before we were out of the studio entirely. So we were pushing to get there were a couple of late nights on that one.
This might have been
once Joe arrived and we had everyone, there were there was at least 2 nights where we stayed at the studio later than usual to get as much as we could get done.
And some of these I kind of reused some of these shots. You know, I think it was all just like one continuous take of him walking, and then I just split it up into multiple parts.
Question: do you still have the original Youmacon work print?
Yeah.
Oh, just curious.
I also have the crowd reaction to it. It was not as big a crowd as I wanted, but it was still a pretty large one.
Nice.
And of course, since there weren't any sound effects for some of the fight scenes, like the audience started doing pew 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 pew.
That's great.
This is like a superior remake of Future War.
Like when we all bunch together, we make sure that we're in like a V formation.
Mm-hmm. Just makes it easier.
We're getting ready to do the Care Bear stare.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the direction you gave me for that was like, just make it look cool.
I'm such a great director.
Only the best.
Now, I especially love Joe's reaction in the first of these reaction shots after the quantum torpedo hits Mechakara.
Yeah, we did a few takes of that, and like one or two of them was Joe like, nice.
Yep, that's the reaction I especially love. Right there.
You and Rocco Obata is secretly the same person. I don't know who that is.
It's Crow T Robot.
Any chance of getting Linksano and Arlo to interact someday?
Man, people keep bugging me about you have like elaborate backstories for your characters. I just have like throwaway gag characters, man.
Which one was Arlo?
Arlo is the kind of the southern hick one that.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, incomprehensible. Yeah. People, why you gotta bring back Arlo? I don't know why. He's
when was the last time you did a scripted what the hell is wrong with you thing?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I've mostly been focusing on the live stuff.
In real life, where did you get that gun? I got it from a Renaissance festival.
Where all good guns are purchased.
Yep.
And suddenly, one of the greatest mysteries of the theme song has been resolved. That's where he purchased that.
You know, in action movies of the 80s and 90s, whenever the hero thinks that he's killed the villain, it always ends with
Lupa, the first take Lupa did of this, she like fumbled with the gun a bit before she could actually like get it going.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how to hold a gun for beans, so I did it pretty bad.
All right, I think that got it.
You know, I miss the bionic vision.
Dead.
We had an entire bit in the background that I had to cut out.
Look, I gotta be honest. We don't even know if it'll help.
Hey, Lois.
Rocco Bate is me from Mega 64.
His injuries were far less severe.
Lois, cartoon physicist asks, will I ever make a proper cameo
Well, there you go.
Maybe.
on your show?
Maybe. I don't know.
I have the feeling that you just make some of this stuff up as you go along.
Oh man, now this entire storyline concept is blown.
Fez is back.
Yeah.
What is he even doing?
You know what? You know what I love about that? It literally proves the theory that Brad is still drunk.
Brad just does not give a fuck, and it's glorious.
Actually, if you watch the fight again, Brad doesn't fire a single shot during that entire fight scene.
No, he doesn't.
And I can't remember if it's because we forgot to film it or if I couldn't find the footage of him shooting.
It's kind of funnier that way, though.
He didn't want to be here. He was the one who recommended we just cut and run. Screw these guys. I'm going to the green room and watch some more Tequila and Benetti.
You had to know how it ended.
Mm.
You remember how many variations of the ending credits you had me do?
Yeah, because one person was like a little kid who apparently didn't get the numerous emails I sent out about getting their name in the credits.
Okay, so quick story about this. So somebody literally sent me a screenshot of directed by Lewis and I, and I had no idea that was going to happen because everybody was like, "Oh, congratulations! This is the coolest thing," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then they showed me the screenshot, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
To answer this, sorry, go ahead.
No, but Lewis explained to me later that because I had done, like, basically been his right hand on the entire movie, he was like, "Yeah, all right, you deserve it, it's fine."
To answer the super chat questions, I greatly appreciate boxes. Very good for storing things. Keith Schwerin asking if you were asked to guest voice on Night Vale, would you? Oh, most certainly. I would love to be on Night Vale.
Night Vale's so good.
Now, as I recall, when I sent you my original version of this this test version of these credits, just to see if you were still awake, I actually put my full animated logo on the credits.
I mostly paid attention to like, you know, all these people, and once you got to, like, you know, the Patreons, not Patreon, the Indiegogo supporters, I was like, well, if you didn't copy and paste them properly, that's not my fault.
Well, actually, at the time, I don't think you had given me the list when I first made my first variation. I actually went to a random name generator and generated like 500 names to make the proper length.
Yep.
Now, what was the first name of the guy who donated the 15,000 again?
It was Alex something.
Alex.
Yeah,
something.
it was Alex something.
So we're likely to find out who that is.
And while I say additional visual effects, Phelan actually only did one shot, and that was the Avengers pullback shot. We call it the Avengers shot because it was the shot of everybody as the camera moved, and it was him he added in Poyo and 90s Kid and Harvey to that sequence.
Yeah, but you go on IMDb, he gets all the credit.
Okay,
Alex
kids.
Alex
Well,
Bigley.
I have to go because I have to do grown-up stuff tonight. But this was fun, and y'all take care, and I will see y'all around.
And
It
Nash,
was nice talking to you again, Nash.
No
Nash,
problem.
while you're on the line, I'd like to thank you for once featuring one of my episodes on Radio Dead Air.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. It's cool.
Thank
All right, y'all take care. I'll see you later,
man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
So after this, I am going to play an episode to give my voice a break. The rest of you are free to stick around for the Pokemon Omicron finale, but of course, if you don't want to, you don't have to. How long have you been back there?
I noticed. You forgot to turn
did.
You forgot to turn the eye on. That's why I started laughing. There you go. Now the eye's on.
You're doing this whole thing and didn't even fight Poyo?
But yeah, you guys are free to stick around for that if you want. If you don't want to, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Is that it?
I gotta head out actually, so.
All right, see you later, Allison.
Nice talking to you
Allison.
guys. Thanks for having me on the stream.
Yep, thanks for coming out here.
Happy 500th.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
And Jess, you were going to ask something?
Oh, I was gonna say I thought I just saw his name in the credits, but I don't think that's right.
The 15,000 contributor?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of different Alexes in the in the producers, so I'm not entirely sure.
I was looking at the executive producers. It was like Alex Bigley was the only
It
Alex.
was Alex
up there.
Bigley, yep. There
Yep,
was
Alex
actually
Bigley.
also a $3,000 contributor as well, who unfortunately does not get as much attention, though probably deserves as much just for contributing that much.
No kidding.
Yeah, I finished dinner just in time to come back for credits. That's why I just came down here.
Why are you playing with what's his face's sword?
Skarn.
Scarred, that's it.
Because I was sneaking up on you, and you weren't paying attention, and I was gonna slice you.
Yes, this stream will be archived for later. We're gonna go back and edit out a bunch of stuff. But Jess, if you want to stick around for Pokemon Omicron, that's fine. You don't have to, though.
Yeah, Pokemon, yeah! You're gonna expect me to turn down Pokemon? Are you mad, sir?
Hey, this will be the first Pokemon Omicron live stream I've ever part of.
Yep.
I have done one when I actually filled in for Kaluna once, but that has yet to be released to the public.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, I don't care.
I was really hoping I would
have
finish
time.
up all the remaining Pokemon Omicron stuff for this for this stream because I knew I was doing the Elite Four run here.
Ah, gotcha.
Ah, well.
It's fine. I don't really care. I just like doing it. It's, anything to help out my friends.
For those who ask about some of the music on Atop the Fourth Wall, a lot of the music loops tracks here I use in the show too, so feel free to look through them.
Influence and Extraterrestrial. Those were used a lot during the Ghost of the Machine arc.
Yep.
I remember, like, the first time we ever had a Skype call, that was, like, the first thing I asked you.
What episode? We're going to play Batman the Dark Knight. We're going to first we're going to play an Insight and a Trivia because we had, because Ryan Molina of Battle Geek Plus, he gave an Insight clip for this, so we definitely want to do that. Watch out for Marius.
And of course, don't forget the post-credits scene.
Of course.
Oh yes.
Which, when I saw the original cut, I didn't know it was a post-credits scene.
Well, yeah, because I didn't have credits in the version I sent you.
Right. I still have that line around somewhere.
And of course, all these wonderful reactions. Melissa was out of town, so she could not appear for that. And Fez is actually holding Poyo up.
That was some great general magic.
Hey Lewis, aka Linkara, Ryan from Battle Geek Plus here, and I remember back in 2008, I went on a huge Spider-Man comic reading binge. I mean, I was reading all of my favorite Spider-Man comic issues from my childhood, and then I remember on That Guy with the Glasses, I saw your review of, I think it was one of the adjectiveless Spider-Man issues on the Clone Saga, and I was like, hey, this guy, he's reviewing comics like the Nostalgia Critic. And I became a fan ever since. And it's been really surreal that I've actually gotten to work with you on That Guy with the Glasses and Channel Awesome. And now, since we're both kind of off the site and we're still working together on stuff, I mean, it's been pretty awesome. And huge thanks for being such a good friend to me and many of the other producers, and even a bigger thanks for all the valuable advice you've given me and to the other producers throughout the years. I mean, you are one of the most knowledgeable and one of the most professional people I've ever worked with. And, I'm looking forward to working with you on other stuff again. And you know what, everybody? This is the 500th episode live stream!